YouTube. Let's talk about the latest in regards to NIO. So thank you guys for tuning in. Please hit that thumbs up as we continue to grow the channel. I greatly would appreciate it. So you can see right now, NIO is up 1 cent in the pre-market. And so there was some information that came out this morning in regards to the deliveries, okay? Now, the company delivered 20,976 vehicles in October 2024, representing an increase of 30.5% year over year. Now, the deliveries consisted of 16,657 vehicles from the company's premium smart electric vehicle brand NIO and 4,319 vehicles from the company's family-oriented smart electric vehicle brand Envo. Now, I think Envo is going to be the thing that takes NIO to the next level, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, cumulative deliveries reached 619,851 as of October 31st, 2024. Now, in October 2024, the production and delivery of the Envo L60 have been steadily ramping up as of October 31st. And Envo operated 166 Envo centers and Envo spaces across 60 cities, while also providing users with seamless access to 584 NIO Power swap stations in China. Now, Envo will continue to expand its sales, service, and power networks to serve a growing user base and drive long-term growth. Okay. So this was the latest on their deliveries. And so, although, 20,000 for me is a solid number, I want to start to see NIO get closer to 25,000. For a lot of people, I know that's a long stretch, but I think that's something that's achievable. I think once they get to that 25,000 mark, then we'll start to see even the stock price start to resemble that, as I believe $6-7 will become a strong level of support. So we've got to find some common ground that will allow us to, get to these stronger levels of support. Now, I do understand as of right now, where NIO's stock price is right now is not solely based on their performance as a company. Yes, we want to see NIO get to the point where they are profitable. Negative earnings per share is one thing. The amount of revenue they bring in is another. But ultimately, the goal is to shoot north of zero as it pertains to earnings per share. Now, looking at the stock chart right now, looking at the 5-day, we've held above $5, but I was expecting us to get a little bit closer to 533. And like I said before, where the stock currently is kind of the state of this continued grift of this stimulus thing. So I think it's easy for me to say, but at some point, we're going to have a reflection on what these companies are doing, the work they're doing, and not solely based on a stimulus. And I know that's easier said than done. I know that the state of any economy, no matter what country we're talking about, has importance. But at what point do we, value what the companies are doing? What point do we value valuation and the trend of doing better than the previous quarters, forward guidance, so forth and so on? Now, when we look at the amount of sales from October, I know that doesn't necessarily reflect the most positive movement for the stock, but we'll see what happens throughout the day. Maybe we start to get back closer to $5.33. I don't really see us going under $5 to end this week. If there for some reason we go under $5, I think, as I'll typically say, we're gonna see some buying that happens at that point. Now, looking at the latest as it pertains to the deliveries, I think what's going to be important going forward with earnings, which is going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, is the margins, right? If the margins are good and it's showing more profitability than the last quarter, then we're on to something. But if those margins aren't going to be good, then in the short term we could potentially have a problem. So let's go ahead and look at kind of what we're expecting for earnings per share. So it looks like we're expecting to get a little bit closer to zero, which I would suspect that if we're gonna have a better quarter than the last, we've got to get closer to the teens, right? So a negative 0.25 or a negative 0.23 would be good, but how will the investors react to that? How does the overall sentiment surrounding this particular stock kind of react? So for me, I would say negative 21 and closer to zero is going to be positive, and it will propel us to higher heights. I would say revenue is going to have to be better as well. And then forward guidance, I would say is going to have to do well. But the last earnings, I said one of the three was going to have to be good, and we had that. The earnings per share came in nicely. So I think this time we're going to have two. So it's either going to have to be earnings per share and revenue that's going to have to beat expectations, or it's going to have to be revenue and forward guidance, or earnings per share and forward guidance. Two of the three, I think, in this case, is going to have to beat expectations in order for this stock to kind of end off in a direction that I foresee it going to end off this year, which is going to be at or above $7 per share. So another thing that could propel us even higher is this, I would say this stimulus situation. So there's going to have to be a backing or proof of what was reported that would happen. And if we get a combination of both, now maybe we look at ending the year off $8 to $9 per share. But if we only get one, either a good earnings of some sort or a good bit of news as far as the economy, then we're going to end the year off at or above $7 per share, okay? So these are my thoughts. These are the updates. Let me know your thoughts and updates in the comments, guys. And I appreciate you. I'm out. Peace.